All right, welcome to Adam and Jake on the Movies. As always, I'm Jake.
I'm Adam.
And every week or so, we break down a couple of movies. It's my fault. I've been in Florida and Virginia for the last 2 weeks, but now I'm back in Detroit. So back to normal. But we watch a couple of movies, and we watch a movie, and we talk about it. What we like about it, what we didn't like about it. Sometimes we've seen it, sometimes we haven't. So this week's movie, because we were still involved in what was it?
Blockbuster May.
Blockbuster May.
Yes.
Was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit was released in 1988, directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Gary Wolfe wrote the novel, Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman wrote the screenplay, starring Bob Hoskins.
Oh, yes.
Had you seen this movie before?
Yeah, I've seen this movie probably, I would say, five to six times, maybe.
Nice. I was there when it was shown right when it came out, but I was really young, and all I remembered were the characters, but I don't remember anything about it.
So you were a little kid, were you looking up at the screen in awe?
Pretty much, or in fear.
Oh, in fear?
Yeah, Christopher Walken's character, or Christopher Lloyd's character, because I had seen him I didn't like it. I don't think I liked it because of him, but that's good acting, especially when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I'd seen it before. So this was kind of like my first real viewing from head to toe of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
And it was once it was over, it took me back to my childhood. I felt very nostalgic.
Were you glad that it was Were you glad that it was over?
No, I don't think I was glad that it was over.
Okay.
But it just felt nostalgic. We'll start there.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I remember seeing this when I was a young lad, and I was a little bit scared of when Christopher Lloyd's character had those piercing eyes that darted out of his head, and the screech that his voice would make. I remember that, being a little bit scared of that, and I don't know if I was upset, but I do remember, thinking this was kind of unlike anything that I had seen before. So I do have good memories of it, and it was original. It was a really original idea. So that always, and it mixed animation with live action, which was very cool. And I don't think that I had seen that up until then.
Very unique.
Oh, thanks for Lana for watching also.
All right, so let's start breaking this film down a little bit. What was something that you would want to change about this film, if anything?
Do you want me to take this one first?
I'll take it first. I didn't like the kind of the way that the ending played out with Christopher Lloyd's character.
Yeah.
It was just too much. It felt a little bit out of left field. It felt a little bit. It kind of was gross. It was like
where he was revealed to be a tune.
Yeah, and then the way that he turns into this demonic character or whatever.
Okay.
I was just like, the film didn't really set up for that. And
no, I can see it did come out of left field. Because his voice starts getting high. When I killed your brother, I talk just like this, but in that really high-pitched sound. Mm-hmm. So I can see what you mean. So how would you change it? Do you know, or you would just rewrite the end?
Yeah, I would rewrite the end. I think that's ultimately where I would go, is just kind of rewrite the end, play it out a little different. I didn't feel like the ending was the most appropriate. Him being a tune, yeah, it was fine. There was many things about it that were fine in the ending, but just that aspect of it was just too much.
Right, okay. Um, I don't think looking back, maybe trim some small pieces here and there, but I think I would just leave it the way it is.
Okay.
Um, I can't think of a satisfying ending that I might be able to. I do agree that the very end of the third act kind of comes out of nowhere, but I don't know what I could think of right off that would make it better. But as far as a lot of the
Yeah.
other things, I would say that the movie satisfies 85%. I'm pretty much satisfied with the movie.
Yeah.
So maybe just a few things here and there, but I would really have to go in and really, really dissect each individual scene or the slow pieces. So right off, maybe a little bit long, but other than that, I can't think of any right offhand. Did the
What
camera do just
about?
something weird just now?
I didn't notice. Did it
Okay,
do it on mine?
I
I
thought
was
so, but maybe not.
I was switching to a different screen so I could see
Okay,
my. Because I was looking for a name.
okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the main character, which in this film we'll say is Bob Hoskins' character, who is Eddie Valiant. What do you think about him as a character, and then how he changes throughout this film?
I thought he was a good addition. Bill Murray was originally who they wanted for the role, and they couldn't contact
Oh,
Bill
dang.
Murray due to his. We've talked about the way he doesn't have an
Yes.
agent, any of that
The
stuff.
answering machine.
Yeah, and they couldn't get a hold of him. And this is one of the movies Bill Murray said that he wished that he would have gotten to play, which would have made it a little different depending on how Bill Murray would have played the movie. But I
Yeah.
think what's the character's name? Eddie Valiant.
Yeah.
I think he does undergo a change of heart. He throws away the bottle. Well, actually, he pours it down the sink. So he no longer wants to be the drunk private eye. It seems to me that he wants to change. Turn his life around, and he's able to get revenge or vengeance upon the person who killed his brother, and
Mm-hmm.
also in the meantime, the hatred he has in his heart for Toons is diminished, and he's also made a new friend with Jessica and Roger Rabbit. So I think he has made a big leap in bound. Also, Lana mentions the little shoe being first dipped inside the toxic goo,
Yeah.
that the frightening look and how sad it is, that little cartoon shoe is a very disturbing,
Yeah,
especially for kids.
I think it was the toxic goo that just that's what ended. Like I didn't like the end of the movie because okay, this comes back to something else that I might change about the movie. I thought that it was hard to see the arc of of Eddie's character because I didn't think that Bob Hoskins was a good fit for the role. He was a little too grungy. Like you really want somebody to be this noir character, but also be like a more fun character because he did the vaudeville, like, or he did the entertaining, as we saw with his last past life with his brother. And this guy never sold that to me. I
Right.
never was buying that he did that. And I think that's where it's like, to me, he's just always gruff. And even when he tries to not to be gruff, he's still gruff.
Even when he's singing that little song near the end.
Yeah, it just didn't do it for me. I think, you know what? And I just thought about that as soon as you were talking about it. I think that's where this film missed the mark.
The
Casting.
casting.
Bill Murray, once I thought about Bill Murray, I'm like, I could see Bill Murray going both ways. Like, I could see him filling that role. This guy, I don't know who else was famous around then. But it just didn't work for me. It really didn't.
I can see that as well. Now, an interesting tidbit, Lana is saying the dip was paint thinner. So that's what they used to make the goo
Oh.
dip. So
And
that's a pretty,
they're. Okay.
yeah.
Going back real quick, I know I'm pushing us way back to Gladiator, which we did last 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
The movie Split. Have you ever seen the movie Split? An M. Night
I've
Shyamalan
seen it.
movie?
Yeah, I've seen it once. Yeah, one time.
Do you know that Joaquin Phoenix was originally they were trying to get him to play the character, and then they couldn't work out the deal, so they ended up with what's his name?
I see his face.
Yeah, I want to say James Marsden. It's not him.
It's James somebody. It's James
James
McAvoy.
McAvoy.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. I probably should have held that on for the next show, but anyway. Okay. Yeah, he didn't really work for me. But secondary characters, what do you think about other characters in this film? Let me take that one first.
Okay.
I liked the baby. I thought the baby was really good.
Yeah.
And I liked Roger. I think Roger almost cancels out the other guy almost cancels him out. I guess I can put it that way. But Roger makes this worth it because he's such a good character.
He's a good addition. He's got the energy. Every time Roger is on screen, you really can't take your eyes off of him at all.
And his voice, I love his voice.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, that's the two that I was going to say. But I will say I also like the cab. He had a good personality as well. And he wasn't in a lot of scenes, but he's very memorable. And I remember him, even from a youngster, getting a coloring book of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And what's the cab? Can you look up the cab's name?
Is his name Greasy? Benny the Cab. Benny the Cab.
Yeah. And I always remembered him from just those coloring books in the movie. So I thought he was a good secondary character. He kind of made the background characters a little more colorful and kind of filled in the world that not every cartoon creation is Snow White or bubbly and happy. I think he was another creation, drawn character similar to Baby Herman. So I like that addition.
They were all, so Roger Rabbit, Benny the Cab, Greasy, and Psycho were all three played by the same guy, or all three voiced by the same guy, Charles Fleischer, who also then made an appearance in Zemeckis' next movie, which was Back to the Future Part 2.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. Go ahead. Music. Did you like the music?
I did. I made sure to listen to the music, and I thought it fit well. The action scenes had action music that would fit that period. What was it, in the 50s?
Yeah,
40s or 50s, maybe.
50s.
But I think it fit. I think it fit in. Also, I wanted to say that Heather, one of the watchers, and she helps out sometimes, was in love with Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a kid. So she might come on at some point and talk about Roger Rabbit a little bit.
Nice. I thought the music, it definitely had an animation feel to it, but it also, it was just like it was like a good Looney Tunes where the music always accented the action.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, like, it was good. I liked it.
So. And it's one of the only times where Disney and Looney Tunes had cartoons in the same movie as well.
Yeah, I thought about that, but that was when Disney was going through this kind of weird phase. They hadn't jumped back into doing full animation yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is kind of weird to see these characters together.
And each Donald and Bugs Bunny, like, they all have the equal amount of screen time as the other.
I didn't realize
so
that.
every minute that Bugs is on screen, Daffy has the equal amount. The same thing for like Mickey Mouse and I guess Donald.
Yeah.
So yeah, they always have the same amount. Yep.
Did not realize that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool. Well, it's also cool because those are like the two biggest forces in. Yeah, and I'm sure those were the two biggest influences when it came to writing this film and for Zemeckis for directing it. So did you have a scene that really stood out to you that you really liked?
The one Lana mentioned earlier with the first little shoe getting, dunked in the goo. That's always a memorable one. But what I really remember the most when I think back is the opening cartoon with Roger and Baby Herman, and then when cut, Baby Herman walks off screen, he's gruff, he's got the cigar, and Roger is basically like he is on screen. But I always really remember that. And there was also a little short film in front of, I think, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids called Tummy Trouble. You could probably find it on YouTube. And it's another Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman cartoon as well.
Oh, I didn't
But yeah, that little cartoon at the beginning would be one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
The introduction to what you're getting into.
As cliche as it sounds, I kind of like that because it really sets the tone for it. And to me, honestly, I watched it, 3 weeks ago? 2.5 weeks ago? I can't recall beginning to end any other scene in the whole movie. Like, I know exactly what happened. I know where, like, everything went. But, like, beginning to end...
There's not a lot of memorable scenes.
No, maybe isn't there the club where they meet Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah.
Like, that one kind of...
like it's a fun movie, but I enjoyed watching it, but I don't know how memorable the movie itself was.
Yeah.
But not saying it was bad. When do you really ever hear a lot of people talk about it?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And it's such a unique film too. That's the other thing about it. But yeah, I would say that opening sequence too.
Yeah.
So, what are your closing thoughts on Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Well, I think it was a good addition to On the Movies. So thanks, Lana, for suggesting that.
I didn't realize that. Cool.
And I'm glad to rewatch it. It's been a little while since I've rewatched it. I'm glad that we were able to kind of dissect it a little bit. I would say if you haven't watched it, I don't think it's a waste of time. I think it's a fun way to spend, an hour and 45, an hour and 50 minutes long. But yeah, go into it. I would rather go into it, I guess, knowing nothing. Because if you know what it's about, it might make it's half cartoon, half live action. But I will say this: it holds up surprisingly well. I thought to come out, be made in 1987.
88, yep. Well, 88. made in 87.
Yeah, so 88. That's 33 years ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it holds up fairly well. So give it a try. If you like the first hour of the movie, finish it on out. It's not going to blow you away, but it's a fun little piece of filmmaking. Yeah,
I'm glad we revisited it because I hadn't seen it in forever, and I've never really seen it all the way through. Okay. So it's really kind of cool to revisit it. I think there's just it's Robert Zemeckis, which he's one of the best there is. So it's definitely worth seeing it to see him as a storyteller. I think that it's definitely not a waste of time. You just got to see it at least once.
Yeah.
And if it's not your cup of tea, then wait 20 years and go see it again. Or 30 years, go see it again. I think if they would have just made two little changes there, I think would have helped everything. If Bill Murray would answer his phone or call people back, then I think this could have been a much better film. But yeah, I would totally say, yeah, go check it out. It's worth the hour 44.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, what are we doing next week?
I think we are doing the Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, John Candy movie, Dan Aykroyd movie, Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little-known movie that I think people will be very divided upon. You're going to like it or not like it.
I was thinking that's one heck of a cast. Oh, it's directed by Dan Aykroyd.
Is one and only. Yes.
All right. Well, there we go. So we'll do Nothing But Trouble next week. All right. What is? Are we in June now?
I think we're going to do
Little Known June.
Yeah, Little Known June or Strange June, and then you're going to be gone in July, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that Lana is going to fill in, and we're going to do Phoebe Cates July. Movies dedicated or starring Phoebe Cates.
Okay.
So that's what we're
I
going
know who Phoebe Cates is.
Now, Phoebe Cates is married to actor Kevin Kline, and she had retired for quite a while. She was in Gremlins, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Gremlins 2, Drop Dead Fred, a few movies.
All right.
But yeah, that was an idea from executive producer. So that's what we're going to do while you're away. But yeah,
Sounds good.
Nothing But Trouble next week.
Let's do it. All right. Well, that's going to do for this episode. We'll be back next week with Nothing But Trouble.
Yep.
And stick around. We get the Other People show coming up next.
We do.
So for Adam and Jake on the movies, I'm Jake.
And I'm Adam.
And we will see you in a few moments.
All right.
So long,
bye.
everybody.